What is going on? Welcome back to the YouTube. Today we are in for pull. Now we've got the RDLs, we've got the pull downs, we've got the rows, we've all got the bits and bobs. So I'm going to run you through a bit of a raw session, so I'm probably not going to edit too much of this one. Just a bit of a raw, what I'm feeling, what I'm doing within the moment of the session. So effectively, how do we build an improved posterior chain? Because the reality is, ain't nobody got too big of a posterior chain. So with that being said, we're on the Nautilus pull down to kick off. So I'm going to start on the Nautilus pull down. I've got a couple of bickies on here just to start with, just to get the lats firing. Really getting a nice stretch here. Oh yeah. For the top set, I will film from the other angle so you can see the stretch, as well as then my elbow coming down towards my hip. Oh yeah. So the way I tend to warm up here is I'll probably do 2 or 3 sets per arm before I get to my working weight. So typically I'll do like let's say 8 reps on that one there, and I'll go up to do 5 reps and then like maybe 2 or 3 reps before the top set. So I don't want to fatigue myself so much, but equally get sufficiently warm in the lat in order to get cracking with the working set. I suppose some of the key things I'm thinking about here as I warm up is to really have that stretch towards the one side and slightly lean towards one side. Drive the elbow down towards the hip. I'm really controlling, let that tension run up through my lat. Oh yeah. And a big one on this one is not excessive range at the top. It's just not required. You don't need that added stretch for the lat. You're invariably just going to roll your shoulder forward and remove the tension from your lat. I'm also typically opting for, neutral, if not semi-supinated grip. Let's load up for the top set. We've got some banging tunes playing. Got some chalk, liquid chalk to go in, just for grip purposes. Often when your hands get a little bit clammy, it can be challenging to grip. Even though I've got a wrist strap, it can be helpful with a bit of chalk. All right, nice and lock in. Right, that's 8 reps with 4.5 plates. Feels pretty solid. I did get 8 reps last rotation. With equal, maybe that was probably slightly better in terms of getting the 8th rep short. All right, right arm. Alright, so the back off, we've got 3.75 plates. And the idea is just try and keep as much tension on that lat as possible. It's not as if we're wildly speeding up the reps or anything. Yeah, as I said, just keeping the tension on those lats. As you can see there towards the end, whilst I could use other parts of my body to get further stretch and contraction there, that will just bring other, parts of my body into it when I just want to keep it on the lat. So hence why keeping it within the active range of motion, i.e. bringing the elbow down towards the hip and not going excessively behind my body. So that becomes counterintuitive. All right, we're on to the meat and potatoes of the session, the RDL, which I've been running for a couple months since post-show, since we returned home. Progressed it quite nicely. So I know I had this in a previous YouTube video, which might have come out a couple of weeks, months ago, depending on when you're watching this. We've progressed loading since then, which is always nice. I did touch 5 bickies 220 on last rotation, so I think we'll rinse that one again today, more than likely. A big question I often get asked is, in terms of warming up, how many sets, how many reps? And the answer is, as always, it depends. Depends on what you're working up to. Hence why having a logbook is important, so you know then what you're working up to. So for example, today, I know that 220's on the cards. I work backwards from there and know how many reps, how many sets and warm-up sets I'm going to do. Typically on any sort of hip hinge. I've got Olivia texting me saying there's a banger of a song on. Yes, it is a banger. What was I saying? On any hip hinge, I typically don't like to go more than a plate up at a time. So if I'm working up to 220 like I am today, I'll go obviously 1 plate for 5, 2 plates for probably 3 or 4, then 3 plates for 2 or 3, 4 plates for maybe a single, 4.5 for a single, and then get into the working weight. So I generally don't like to have the jump to the working set be a bigger jump than that prior jump. So it goes from 140 to 180 to 200 and then to 220. Like I wouldn't want to go like a 10 jump to the second last working and then like a 30 kilo jump or something along those lines. So anyway, 2 plates. Alright, let's do a couple more warm-ups and I'll catch you for maybe the final warm-up. Alright, final warm-up. We've got 200 on the bar. Of course it's going to be heavy, but we're going to be strong about it in terms of the walkout. Keep those lats nice and locked in. Drive through the floor. Push those hips back. It's the way you. Oh. That was heavy. All right. It's one of those ones where if you're not kind of switched on, locked in, you're kind of a bit fucked in the sense that you kind of got to stay tight, remain tight. Otherwise, it'll chew you up and spit you out. So that's the mentality going into each set. Obviously, that's just the max reps on last rotation, 220 for 6. But again, last rotation was the first time I'd touched 220. So the fact that this was 160 3 months ago, sure, not to this difficulty. Not that I've gained that kind of strength in that period, but more so just learning the skill of the movement for the most part. So very happy with that. We've got to back off with 140 just to really rinse the pauses, the eccentrics, and keep constant tension, but we will see that after this. All right, back off here with obviously a much lighter weight. It's obviously going to feel significantly lighter, but that's okay. Deliberately not come all the way up and lock out at the top. Keep it on the hamstrings and pause at the bottom. So big emphasis on just shifting those hips back. And like deliberately, this should feel light. I did have 4 plates last time, but obviously I was hurting the hips. It wasn't even the positioning of, I don't think, it was the sheer weight. So we'll drop to 3.5 plates. Not this is light load, but yeah, so for the people watching, it was just the groin area there, like it fucking really hurt as I had to brace and get the, yeah.
You should really try that.
Yeah, I don't know if the mat's gonna help. It's still that sheer force into the pad. And I've tried playing around with the seat height or the foot pad height Don't know. Anywho, we'll drop back in, load in slightly, and just see. Not that I'm not going to failure, but not go as heavy. All right, 3, 2, yep. I could sense that if I was going to go for another one, well, so it might have been there, it was going to hurt around the groin area. So a suggestion of Olivia was to put a mat in between. So let's see how this goes. How should I do this? Double over or single ply? Let's see how this goes. Maybe slightly down. Already it's feeling somewhat better, but I think the main thing I'll be able to tell is when I get towards the end of the set and I'm really putting that pressure and the sheer load of it as I push my hips into the pad. Okay. 3, 2. Not bad. I don't know whether it feels better purely because I probably wasn't as fatigued from that top set. But, I mean, it's good. I'll give it a whirl next rotation on the top set, that's for sure. Huge fan of unilateral movements for back. I would do a fair bit more unilateral work, but obviously from a time perspective, can take a while. So, got the Nautilus unilateral row. It definitely drops off a fair bit as you get short and further extend. Hence why I'll typically, similar to the Nautilus pull down, I'll only bring that elbow towards the hip, and any further than that, it just takes tension off the lat. Anyway, so we'll do starting with the top set here with 3.5 plates. And the aim is to keep a neutral, if not predominantly a semi-supinated grip, slightly lean to one side. Hence why we do them unilaterally, because of the alignment and the arm path. I want to be slightly leaning to one side. If you're doing both arms at the same time bilaterally, you can't be doing that. And you probably wouldn't be able to hit as much lat if you were doing it bilaterally. You'd probably be more of an upper back row as opposed to more of a lat biased row. Strong stable base by having the foot driven into the foot pad and then the opposite foot out wide for a strong stable base. Opposite hand gripping the seat. Pro tip, if you're struggling to connect with your lats on any row-based movement, is on that eccentric phase, put downward pressure. So as I'm coming eccentric down, put downward pressure with your hand, and you'll find your lats will blow up. All right, back off with the right arm. All right, onto the last back movement of the session, the upper back pull down. Now, I think this is often one of the most butchered movements, typically due to the movement of the torso for most people when they are performing this. So as you can see when I'm doing this, the aim is to keep the torso leant back and keep it leant back through the entirety of the movement. That way it's upper back focused. It's not necessarily, even though people will often call this like a lat pull down, I've got the D handles for movement in the wrists, so I'm not fixed in that position. So yeah, stay locked in, torso leant back from the hips. Driving those elbows down. I'm ordinarily an advocate for doing biceps before then doing your rear delts in a pull session, but this was just straight next to the pull down, so I was like, I'll just get this out of the way. And the reason I say that is typically like your rear delts might be activated and or a bit fatigued from training back, so you'd ideally like to give it a bit of a rest whilst doing your biceps before you hit your rear delts. I like to have a pretty loose grip on it and not necessarily come all the way back. Get tension on the rear delts. So this is a bit of a lighter set to start with. I'll go 15 reps before I go heavier on the second and third set. A bit heavier for the second set here. Oh yeah, excellent rear delt connection. I think it goes without saying that we are well and truly deep into the off season. Say deep, maybe 16 weeks in the show, 17 weeks, 16 weeks maybe. And yeah, while its body weight may not be peak body weight by any means, we're really close to peak strength levels. I think AJ made the comment in my last check-in in that my look doesn't represent how I'm performing in the gym, i.e. the look is significantly better than how I'm performing. So yeah, that effectively means that I'm in a good spot look-wise, and training is also in an excellent spot. So it's a great result all around. So maybe body weight, probably we might have expected it to need to be higher than where it is in order to perform the way that we are. So it's a great outcome. Olivia in the foreground. You're in the foreground. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Final movement. D-handle preacher. D-handle preacher, D-handle cable curl. Keeping these elbows behind the torso. Alrighty, that is going to wrap up the session. Nautilus pull down first up, RDL, quads and T-bar, Nautilus unilateral row, up back pull down, preacher curl, no, rear delt, preacher curl, D-handle curl. Anyway, that's been a mic'd up session, bit of a raw, unedited kind of video, so if you like it, please like the video and let me know what else you would like to see, these little tips and tricks throughout the session and just what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and that kind of thing. It's the off-season training and it's well and truly in force. So, like, comment, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.